So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Venus Rahu in the 7th house. Okay, and as always, if you do not know, if you have this particular conjunction of these two planets in the 7th house, and what sign there and what nakshatra there in your chart, check out the links here, KapielRaaj.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, where especially I have put in 2025 horoscope for all ascendants, over 25 to 30 minute long videos. I'm also going to be putting February horoscope for all ascendant, probably within this week or next week. Okay. So, Venus, Rahu in the 7th. So first of all, as you know, 7th house, bondage, right, of all kinds. Whether it's marriage, whether it's partnership, whether it's bondage with the world. You know, like some people dedicate their life towards doing things for the world, like just doing things for the others. The 7th house. 7th house is your distinctions in life. Like when you get promotion, when you get higher, things happening in life is the 7th house. Usually, for example, Sagittarius ascendant people this year will see great distinctions happening, or not great distinctions, not all of them. But there'll be a hint for all of them, but for some, you will receive it because Jupiter is going to be in the 7th house. Okay. And then 7th house is also business. Okay. 7th house represents constraint. Many of you didn't know. 7th house is a house of limit, not limitless. It's the house of limit. Think about it. Why is it a house of limit? Because number one, which planet is exalted here? Shani, Saturn. This is where Saturn shows its magic tricks that even Venus can't. Like Venus is like, I need to invite Saturn to show you all the great things in my house. I can do it. Saturn has the power. And what is Saturn? Saturn's duty, commitment, sacrifice, and staying within the boundaries. And this is why what happens when you get married, and this is very important what I'm saying, you're now suddenly restricted. You have a person, you were longing for somebody. Okay, Rahu was looking for Ketu, it found Ketu, it became one. Okay. But now that's it. So you see a handsome man walking by, you see a beautiful woman walking by. You can't just approach her and say, hey, how are you? Let me take you out for a dinner. You can't. Now that constraint comes into play. So that is the 7th house. And here you have Venus Rahu. Okay. And the number one thing that does occur in this particular placement, freedom. Such a person looks for freedom, commitment, obsessively looking for love at the same time. Looking for recognition, fame at the same time. Also, on the other hand, do you know Venus Rahu in the 7th can actually make a very, very committed, dedicated human rights lawyer, an environmental lawyer. Because Rahu will fight for nature. Rahu fights for this earth. Because remember, it saved this earth. Right? Like you saved a puppy from a well. What are you going to do? You're going to destroy that puppy? No. You're just going to easily give it away unless you are giving them a ride home. Most likely you formed this bondage with that puppy like, God, you're my family now. I just saved you. And the puppy loves that human who just saved him or saved her. So what happens is like there's this attachment, right? And Venus, what does Venus represent? Besides spouse and wife and luxury and all the fancy things, It represents Dharma. It's not Jupiter. Venus is Dharma. Because remember, Jupiter just rules the ninth house. Ninth house is Dharma. Then why do we say in Vedic astrology, Dharma Trikon? What is a Dharma Trikon? That's one of the first or second lesson of Vedic astrology. Is first, fifth, and ninth house. Why does Venus rules this? Because Venus is at the heart of all of these particular signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Because of his nakshatra ruling these houses. Venus represents the absolute truth because Dharma is the truth. Like, you can think of whatever you want about the world and how the world is formed and what the world is doing, but that nucleus and electrons and protons, that's Dharma. They're saying we're not changing. We are exactly the way they are. We are. You can't say that this electron is a proton, as proton is an electron, and nucleus is just nothing, and nucleus is actually going to go away at this point. No, it will stay the same way. It is the structure. That's Dharma, something that your opinions and your belief system does not change. It's going to do what it is. That's what Venus will represent, the truth. So here, a person can obsessively look for a true partner. You must be thinking, Venus, Rahu, oh, this person will cheat, this person will do that. No, though that happens with other planets and other angles, which I won't say here in this video. You know, because then what happens is people start looking at their chart and their partner's chart, like, oh, I heard from YouTube that this and this and this happened. And then that gives a bad name to Jyotish, where you can't do that, because I've seen too many charts with Venus Rahu together and Venus Rahu in the 7th house. These can be utterly truth-seeking partners that you do one mess up and they will scold you for it, because they want marriage to be, they look at marriage as this obsessive dharma. That's what happens. I'm pretty sure you haven't heard of this. Venus Rahu, oh, this person is going to cheat, this person is lavish, this person is this. No, you have to see also the sign that Venus is placed in. If Venus is going to desire, right? Venus Rahu in Pisces, the person doesn't care for money. They focus on their dharma because they focus on their moksha. Moksha is not just enlightenment and release. Moksha is understanding the truth. That again, that is moksha. Moksha is giving, contribution. You see all these billionaires that people want to become? These billionaires do not just want to be like, okay, how do I make $1 billion so I can take everybody else's money? No, they're like, what can I do to give something to society? It's too much of this petroleum and pollution. Let's give something back to society with maybe electric cars. You know, I just don't like the fact that people have to travel for getting their groceries and getting their household items. How can I save them time and money? Let me create something called Amazon. I just helped the world and community. Fine. I got $1 billion or I got a $500 million profit. Perfect. Okay, that's great. I'll enjoy it. And then especially with Venus with Rahu in the 7th, obviously it'll give a spouse of either. Now, this is where I'm going to differentiate. This is not the person themselves. So far, I talked about who the person is going to be. Because you're all those 9 planets. What I'm going to say here with Venus in the 7th house, that yeah, you will get spouse who will have very high desires, high goals. Highest of the goals. Especially if Rahu is in front of Venus rather than being behind Venus. And especially if it's in front of behind Venus, you are going to find somebody of a different caste, culture, ethnicity, creed. If it's in front of Venus, you will probably find somebody very similar to your culture, but then a foreign culture is adapted by the spouse. Foreign places are adapted by the spouse. And one of the things we also see, Venus is what? Money. Rokda, right? And Venus is meeting Rahu. So how does this becomes activated? Marriage. Marriage can set in a wheel in motion to bring you gains. Sometimes immense gains, unlimited gains. But that too, first of all, you have to have a combination of Venus, and Venus being in the 7th house of Rahu is not a combination for, it's not a single-handed combination for marriage. No. Although it's like a 3-4 second technique, but I've discussed that on my Nandi Nadi course, my BNN course on Vedic Astrology Academy. But what it does show, you will see Venus, Rahu, 7th house, a person, they will even make friends out of strangers because they want to. They feel this creativity when they, through their charm, they're able to take somebody completely strange of different culture, ethnic background, different belief system, and hold them. Like, it's kind of like Rahu saving the earth. Like, here, I'll save you. Like, these are very giving people in a way. They want to actually rescue people, save people from other things and other people. Sure, you get this combination as a certain nakshatra and sign, then you can even look at a stalker and a obsessive individual. But again, it's like you can say all the things, but then a person's going to start questioning. This is why you don't want to just say too much, on things like social media and YouTube. Like, okay, well, yeah, this person, this nakshatra, and that will become obsessive. Because, again, astrology is fine line between the mathematics and the logic and the intuition. Because intuition far supersedes that logic that you see and the mathematical calculations that you see. As much as people even say, oh, KP is accurate, I see people who go to KP astrologers and their prediction is wrong, and then they come to me. And then they may go to someone else. Because why? It's not about what you're learning. It's how in tune your intuition is with you. Okay. But yeah, with Venus Rahu, the more you give your spouse foreign trips, the more you give your spouse freedom, the more you give your spouse luxury things in life, the better your money will become. You cannot constrain your spouse with this position because they will not be constrained. They will not be held back. Otherwise, it's heading to a divorce court. They want to go out at 1 a.m. in the morning and hang out at some bar just because they want to chill out. They feel this thing that I'm burnt out. I need to go and leave. Let them be. Otherwise, then you'll be going from astrologers to astrologers, looking for one remedy to another to maintain the spouse and control the spouse and maintain the marriage. Doesn't work that way. Okay. So anyway, this is my analysis. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. If you want to know everything about your horoscope, go to the link here, or you can go to all of my academy in the description or comments as well. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.